Hello. So the last time we worked on some neckline cutting, we did the square neckline, the round neckline, and how to cut them. We cut them randomly with no numbers or measurements, the V neckline and so on. But and then we learned about the center front, how you fold and create the center front, center back, depending on which side you're cutting. There's also another measurement called the across shoulder. That is the shoulder. Before you cut the across shoulder or before you cut any armhole, you need to know the across shoulder. In other words, let me show you this. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to practice cutting, but this is a cardigan, right? It's not sewn. It's just the way it's folded and cut. And this is the across shoulder line I'm talking about, from shoulder tip to shoulder tip. Okay, and this is an armhole that we created. And I'm going to show you how you can this is like 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's just a practice of cutting, except that you're going to do it with your own measurements. All right, so there's across shoulder, then there's the armhole, and we start off like before, creating a center front, but in this case it will be center back, because the center front is actually imaginary, it's open, but we have a fold in the back, so we'll be working with center back. Okay, so I'm going to switch the camera to the back. All right, so here we go. We're just going to use a regular rectangle, right? The length is completely subjective. Like, you can decide how long you want it to be. Actually, this is the look over here. In this case, I made one. I'll show you later. I made the length, I think it was even longer than 20 inches. And then the width is from one end of your arm to the other. It's how wide the fabric is this way. And it could be 45 inches all the way to 60 inches or even more. But the across shoulder, where I want the emphasis to be, is right here. And we can get the length of the across shoulder by folding the fabric in two, or creating a center back fold. Okay, and with that we're able to concentrate on the across shoulder, and I'm going to show you how it looks over here. So here we go. I already created the armhole, but just assume that it's not there for a second. And you take your fabric and you fold it in two. You have a rectangle and you fold it in two. So you have this. Okay. And then you measure the across shoulder. In this case, this is the door. Mannequin, from one end to the other end. Okay. And once you fold and create that center back, this is the center back. Once you create the center back, the across shoulder also is folded. So whatever measurement I had for the mannequin, let me measure it right now. Let me show you how to measure that. Okay, so this is the mannequin. I turn the back and I measure from one end to the other, and it's 5. Okay, it's 5 inches. So half of that, once I fold it, I have to work with half of 5 inches, which is 2.5. So 2.5 is what I measure. Go back. 2.5 is what I measure here. 2.5. Okay. It's not sure. Yeah. So I measured. I marked that 2.5 mark. In other words, if you were doing this for yourself and you measured your across shoulder, generally for an adult it should be around 14. If you're a small frame, it will be around 14. On the average, it's like 15, 16 across your back. Okay, when you fold, you halve it. So from the fold to half of your cross shoulder is what you're going to use, which is if you measure 14 across shoulder, means that you have 7 over here. So you measure 7 and you mark that line. Now, when you measure and mark, you go down about 4 inches. This is like the length of from the neck here to the tip of the shoulder. From the neck to the tip of the shoulder. Now, generally, you can give it 4 or 5. So you come down to that point and you mark it. And then you create an oval. It's not too big, just an oval. The length of that oval is about 5 inches too. Okay, 5. You come down 4 inches, you cut this 4 inches, or you come down 5 inches, you cut the oval 5 inches. The width of the oval depends on how big you want your arm to feel, how free you want your arm to feel inside the hole. So this could get bigger, it doesn't matter. Just make sure this is a doll size. So I measured, if you look, this is the armhole, kind of made that roundness for it, and I gave it a good 2 inches. Okay, about from the tip of the shoulder to the underarm area, I gave it 2 inches. So this length is about 2 inches. Okay, it's a little bigger because this fabric stretches, but I'm just showing you how to create this armhole. And I'm going to put it on this mannequin, and I'll also show you my own. Okay, once you place it on it, it falls beautifully in the front, but your armhole shows. I mean, this one doesn't have an arm, but when you put it on, your arm goes through here, and the same thing happens here. Okay, and this is like a very simple cardigan that people make, and to keep warm since the weather is changing. You make you create this, and then you put it over your blouse, and you wear your jacket over it. Keeps you really warm, and this is how it looks. You can even roll it to the back so that it looks like a collar for the back. Okay, and it's called a no-sew cardigan. So practice that. That helps to when the fabric is very soft, it drapes really beautifully. Okay, when it's stiff, sorry, when it's stiff like this one, it also has its own aesthetic. All right, so I went ahead and did one for myself. Like I was saying, this was just a rectangle, right? Straight rectangle. I have the length. You choose how long you want it to be. Usually I want it to cover my butt, so it's a little long. This is like 30 inches plus. But the width is, from finger to finger or from arm to arm. And then you create that hole. The across shoulder makes sure that you have, you have your width across the shoulder in the back nicely draped. All right, and then the rest of it just falls nicely in front of you like that. So the main exercise is just learning to cut that oval. All right, and making something that you don't have to sew. You can just find a warm fabric and create this and throw it over your blouse. All right, now the reason I started with this is so that I can emphasize the use of the across shoulder and its position from the center back, how we use the center back or the center front to create something that we can easily put on. Okay, now there are several other styles that you can create. Like we're going to be, let me switch. Okay, we're going to be learning how to create something simple like this, okay, a kimono, as well as this is the main one that you see a lot of people, you know, just folding and cutting, but this has a lot of information that you need to know, you know, like there are several horizontals and there are verticals that you have to understand. But the next video I'm going to send you will be how to fold and create something like this. Okay, but this one we're going to emphasize the neckline, the neck, you know, real life numbers that you would need to understand to create that. All right, so create your cardigan and send me a picture. Thank you.